Hello and welcome to LedgerCast, not an NFT podcast. I'm here with Josh Olsowich. Hey, Josh.
Brian Krogsgaard, how are you?
I'm doing well. Somebody in the chat's going to be like, Docs. Although I think I just said my name, didn't I?
Oh, sorry. I'm not supposed to say that ever? I'm pretty sure people know your name.
Yeah, they do. But, you know, we got new listeners, and sometimes they don't expect that we might be doxxed.
That's true.
We had a little fear in the market over the last week, and now we have one day of hopium, and everything's fine again. Is that about right?
Yeah, well, you know, we've had this before. I was trying to remember the last time we had like dragonfly dump, referring to the candlesticks. Because we've seen this before. Like it'll dump, it'll look fine, and then just blow past the low, do it again, which is basically what's happened.
My question for you is, when in the heat of the down move, you're like, maybe it's not the bottom. Oh, it's the bottom. Maybe it's not the bottom. Oh, it's the bottom. And the whole time just sitting here looking like, we're not far away from these Keynesians, the magic Keynesian of the bull market. On Bitcoin and ETH, they're both kind of right there. It's like, didn't quite make it to the targets. We made it like on ETH. It's basically from a horizontal levels perspective, it just stopped kind of right where it should stop on a daily basis. So they were like aggressively dip bought scenarios, even though it didn't feel like that in the moment, during a couple of big down days. So do you think that we're going to make the trip down to the Keynesian and then like full reset on trend stuff? Or do you think we could be done and then continue on?
Well, my biggest issue during the dumps there was no volume. I was waiting for both an actual test of the Keynesian on the majors, excluding Sol, because Sol actually hit the Keynesian perfectly, I think. But there's no volume. It seemed like it was a few people selling. There was definitely a bot on Coinbase that just kept placing asks over and over and over.
Oh, interesting. Someone was TWApping out.
I don't know what they were doing. I don't know if they were just trying to push the market down. But
manipulators.
I get the alerts on this Discord channel I'm in, and it was seemed pretty clear that it was the same person over and over again, because they would place three asks over and over and over. But yeah, as far as where we're going, I don't know. This is the uncomfortable feeling of like outside in the winter, you're not really dressed for it. Do you go back inside, or do you just like rough it out?
Yeah,
that's where I'm at, because I know where this wants to go. It wants to go to the Keynesian on ETH and BTC. I didn't sell the top. I didn't do anything. I've done nothing since.
I did all of it. I did all that. I didn't sell the exact top, but I think I sold like at 4,600 and 64K on BTC. So I bought pretty much all ETH under 4K. So I'm like pretty happy with the amount that I reduced my price by. It's about 15%, right?
Yeah. Took
a margin trade. That's what I bought my NFTs with today, is margin trade profit. It's like, screw it, let's go. Took a margin trade on Solana. You're showing the Keynesian bounce right there. I played that from like 198 to 215, something like that, and a little bit of ETH as well. So like, I don't know. The problem is, I feel like that could just run it back. Like we could definitely engulf this back the other way, and continue downward. So now we're very clearly in no man's land, aren't we?
Speaking of engulfing, we are showing potential for bullish engulfing on Sol on the daily, on ETH on the daily, BTC not so much on the daily. We have BTC threatening a dragonfly again, which is a bullish reversal. The thing with all these chart patterns is they don't confirm until the next day. So today, when this closes, and 2 days prior was a great example of this, you get arguably we'll call this the dragonfly, because I think that's what it's going to close as in a couple hours. Dragonfly is just a better example. This was a couple days ago on the 17th, but it's a long wick with a tiny body. Ideally, it's green if it's a bullish reversal. when you get that close, that day is a dragonfly. Then the next day is when you really know what's going on, because like yesterday we broke that low on the wick. This is all like deep candlestick analysis type stuff, but you then cancel out that reversal and you go lower, right? Like that's just what we did. But now today we have the same exact setup. So you don't buy this if you're trading candlesticks until tomorrow's close, which needs to be ideally higher than the wick of today, if that makes any sense for people just listening to this on a podcast. But so you'd want basically a close above 58.4 on BTC to confirm a reversal here, if you're not buying just some random low.
Or just kind of averaging in on the dip if you feel like the market's not done.
Right. Like if you're waiting, that's the way to do it if you're trading candlesticks.
Yeah. On ETH, like it stopped basically at the exact prior high on a daily basis. It spiked below 4K, but spent most of its time like right at or above 4K. What I struggle with is the next level down in a perfectly healthy chart would still like have room to go all the way to 3,300. So if we did that from now, that's another 20% down that it could go and like still look just fine. It's like, can you take a 20% haircut? Do you want to sit on the sidelines? Where do you risk off? And I feel like you could get out between 4,300 and 4,500 and then just, buy new highs with very little loss in ETH terms, or buy whatever the next dip is. So it makes me feel like we're probably just due for consolidation as a bunch of coins trade hands.
I still think basically what you're alluding to is like this could just be a throwback.
Throwback upward.
The technical term, right? So we're testing support, we're testing the previous all-time highs, we're testing the previous local high, and ETH loves to do this. It's done it before plenty of times.
Oh, so you're saying bullish throwback? So like throwback to the downside and then send.
Right. But again, we need volume. If you look at Crow. Look at Crow. Let me just pull it up.
Which is crypto.com, right?
Yeah, not because
let's go to owners of the stadium rights for the Clippers and Lakers, the Staples Arena.
Sure, some arena people were pissed about.
Staples Center. They bought
this is cool.
The Staples Center. It's now the Crypto Center.
This is KuCoin. When you're talking about volume, you got to trust the exchange. Do not trust this exchange whatsoever. But this is sort of what we need. We need some exuberance of any kind to push us past. We need price discovery to actually discover something with volume, because otherwise we just hang up there and nobody wants to buy. Everybody's timid and waiting and looking for a signal, and there just isn't any signal. And it just becomes an overcrowded trade versus this, where this was clearly new money of some kind getting in, even though most of this volume is probably fake. If I look this up on Binance, it probably looks similar if it's even on Binance. Is it not on Binance? Wow. Okay.
As a competitor.
All right, here's FTX. Okay. Like you can trust their volume a little bit more than KuCoin, but it's clear.
To the left? It's my video's in the way.
So, my bad.
There you go.
But it's clear, like, I don't expect this type of explosion in volume, but we need something. We need somebody to be excited about buying all-time highs in order for us to go anywhere.
That's like they told somebody, we're buying the rights to the Staples Arena, Staples Center. And it's like, okay, turn on the volumizer. It just seems so orchestrated.
Well, I had several people tell me that they had friends who bought specifically because they had rights to the Staples, or, they bought the naming rights. So they're like, yeah, let me get in on this.
Yeah.
Like people who don't know better.
This is like pure left curve stuff. No offense to your friends.
No, it is. And I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I'm saying like this is the type of thing you need for anybody to actually want to buy all-time highs.
For some reason, like FTX can buy the Heat arena naming rights, and it just seems totally normal to me. And crypto.com tries like a follow-on trade of the same thing, and the way they do it ends up feeling scammy to me. Maybe I'm just biased against crypto.com. Like I just feel like ever since they existed, they were kind of sketch. Like promoter-ish is what they feel like to me. But anyway, good for them. Sorry. Not to fudge you guys. It just doesn't, I don't know.
I don't disagree. I don't trade there, but an FTT has also been on a super noisy, wild journey. It had a head and shoulders. It didn't break down. It had a bullish Kumo twist, bullish TK cross at the top here. It didn't go anywhere. This thing's just been noise. I still like 100 for this by the end of the year.
$100 for FTT.
It's just not trading technically at all. It's really, at least my system, it's really making the cloud look real bad. Yeah, but Sol looks great.
Exchange coins, I feel like, are always just kind of in their own land.
Yeah, BNB I think still looks fine. Let me find. I had this.
Freaking Binance is like going to go public and stuff.
Well, we'll see about that. But BNB had a key June bounce.
Who knows what market? Like, don't you have to have jurisdiction to actually go public somewhere? I mean, they always try to be non-jurisdictional.
I have no clue about that. I like FTT to 100, Binance to 1,000. I still like those targets. Just there's no volume on anything that isn't like SHIB.
All I want in life is another 2x, and I feel like I don't have the same confidence that you do that there's a 2x out there.
In coins versus NFTs is what you're saying.
No, I'm just wasting money on NFTs.
Okay.
Just like in general. I mean, there are some strong charts. Like I should probably buy Avalanche again. Like it might just teleport from 100 to 200 because that's the kind of thing that happens, you know. But when I look across the realm, it's like getting into the end of the year, holiday stuff. Are we going to have like a hype fest, or is it going to be a risk off, you know, finish? I can't tell. We're into Thanksgiving. This was a huge ordeal in 2017. Thanksgiving table, people talked about how they're making money, and then everybody came in and like bought the coins. Is that what's going to happen again? Retail going to come in here and just go ham on stuff, or are all the people that have made money going to be like, okay, time to take the chips off, time to play it safe?
They're too busy buying SHIB.
Yeah, maybe so.
The SHIB market cap may have flipped Doge. I was looking at this yesterday. It is dangerously close to flipping Doge.
Wait, SHIB already flipped Doge once.
Oh, it did?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It flipped it at the top.
I'm just out of it.
Just unflipped it.
Okay, so now it's like a $5 million or $5 billion gap, but it was like a $1 billion gap yesterday or a couple days ago. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I was looking at stonks too. Stonks look insane to me. Have you seen the Microsoft chart?
Nope.
I know you have because you told me about it. Look at Microsoft. This is the non-log Microsoft chart.
Oh yeah, I've definitely showed you this chart before. Like
what is this, dude? What is this? What in the actual F is this?
That's the denominator is broken, is what that is.
It is insanity, especially post 2021 insanity. I just like, we think crypto is a bubble. What is this if crypto is a bubble, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's scary to me.
I mean, you can do the same thing with the entire market.
For sure, but to me, that's
like
just
pure parabola. Like
it's a textbook parabola. Like, look, this is NVIDIA. Look at NVIDIA.
NVIDIA looks like it's blowing the top off, but maybe it's the end of all things, Josh. It's the end of all growth. Stagflation is coming. It's
just scary if this is blow off for legacy. We're definitely done for crypto if it's blow off for legacy.
Do you know
it's game over?
You want to know a fun one? You know the last RSI high on the S&P 500?
Probably like mid 2020.
2018.
Really?
Yep.
On the weekly or the daily?
Weekly. January 2018, the S&P RSI hit 92. For people's reference, this is not tradable. It's just a sign of like, RSI is fun because you can almost see trends over time. So like you can see for years this RSI downtrend of like a lack of momentum before then it kind of exploded out of the earnings recession is what they called that back in the day. And then, things were really euphoric before the vol explosion in February 2018. And ever since then, we've had these weird volatile swings. And of course we became super, super oversold with COVID. And now, like, despite this crazy move off the COVID lows to now, and look where we are relative to 2018, from a momentum perspective and even a volume perspective, like we're not in that realm anymore. It's interesting, and that can go on for a long time. Like we can probably grind up or sideways for several years, and you can see Nvidia's and Microsoft's and whatever continue to go wild, but like it becomes so much harder to be an investor in my mind when you're looking at it and you're just like, I don't understand how this is real.
Oh, 100%. Because all the common sense in trading is like, this is not something I want to get in here.
Yeah, eventually
there's something I want to hold.
Mean reversion, which in this case means like a full-on recession. You can't, you can hardly even find where is COVID on the Nasdaq chart. It's like a wick. It looks like the Bitfinex hack from 2016. People want assets at all costs. That was the lows were at 160, and then we're at 404 on the Qs. It's wild.
One last thing I'll say about Nvidia, again with candlesticks. It's a candlestick show. That's what it is. It's a candlestick show. So last week's Nvidia was a spinning top, which means buyers and sellers are coming to an equilibrium. It closed green, so it's slightly biased towards bulls, but not by much. This week will close I guess you could consider bullish engulfing on the wick anyway, but it's exceeding the previous wick of last week. So this should lead to bullish continuation in a strong way, because you had your question mark last week and this week's your answer that, we're going higher. So it didn't act as a reversal.
One more fun one. Here's monthly Tesla. Look at the volume. It's like, what? Tell me it's not over when you look at this. Tell me on a monthly. Go to monthly.
For let me pull up.
I got it on my screen right now. The chat.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to pull up the actual analysis, that the pros do.
The pros. I'm just looking at it like in real life, someone that bought Tesla in 2020 at $99 is up 10x. Now, granted, we all are in crypto too, but this is stocks. This is supposed to be real. Ours is already fake internet money. Nobody cares. These are tradable companies. Now, you go to the weekly, it looks like just going to consolidate and continue on, but this looks insane.
So Tesla did what ETH should have done and what a lot of these charts should have done. Tesla looks very similar to a lot of this other stuff. We talked about this in some show a couple of weeks ago, but it looks like ETH did pre-breakout. It looks like cup and handle or whatever. And it hit its target dead on. Like, this was the measured move. This was the 1618 fib. I was saying in a video yesterday, like, if you're long from down here, you shouldn't just expect continuation. If it were me, I'd be letting at least some of it go up here. But yeah, it still looks insane.
So
100%.
My question is, what in the world do people buy after all this? Like, everybody's rich on whether it's on a relative basis or, just like to their own net worth a year ago. Like, everybody, like anybody who's invested has made money unless they were shorting it. You know what I mean? Like, you look across the board. I don't care if it's crypto or stocks or whatever else. Like, if you lost money, you did very poorly. So, like, where do you put your money? Where is the place to take profit to? And I think that's what leads people to end up just holding their stocks and stuff. It's like, well, they don't really want to own anything else. International investors are buying American companies oftentimes. It's like, just, people are, you buy gold. Is that the answer? Just like,
yeah, I pulled up the gold chart. Gold looks good. We talked about this like Monday, I think, but it's in a over 1 year consolidation about to break out. It looks like.
I own crypto and gold and value stocks right now because it's like it's a boomer portfolio for people who are in crypto, but for people out of crypto, they think I'm insane, you know. Just because I can't own Nvidia and those things like we were looking at.
Yeah, it's just this. I wouldn't buy a crypto chart that looked like that, let alone a stock. There's no way.
Yeah.
That's why if you think ETH is pre-breakout, I think that's where you go. If you think BTC is pre-breakout,
Yeah.
If you think this
in
dip,
crypto terms, I'm like all in ETH basically.
if you think this dip is for real, then that's where you go.
Then it's going to be nasty. If this dip is real, Josh, I have to say, ETH, BTC, I know you don't love it. I know we're jumping around a bit. We're just trying to find out what is worth owning, chat. ETH, BTC legit looks like it's about to go to infinity. It looks like it's finally time. You disagree?
No, I was trying to form a thought of
Point one.
an erudite opinion of what's going on.
Here.
Yeah, in a vacuum, it is 100% an ascending triangle / something consolidation. That's definitely bullish. That's undeniable. I love tiers of any kind, including BTC maxi tiers. Honestly, that's a true story. I'll drink anybody's tiers at this point because I'll be there trading it. But
how do I turn this magnet around?
You click on the dot. Go. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, am I wrong?
No, 0.1. Like I think that's the measured move. That's a lot of that. 100%.
This is like, just remember 2017. We were like, yep, here's ascending triangle. Here's target. Like it's like flagpole, consolidation, upwards move. Put it in all your TA classes forevermore.
It is a multi-week duration that gives it strength as well. This didn't happen overnight.
Hypno Toad in the chat says I'm selling 0.099 since y'all front. Or no. He said 0.082 and cents. Cat said selling 0.099 since y'all front ran 0.085 last time. What if this time you're talking on the wrong side and it blows past 0.1 and goes straight to 0.14? How about that? What if? Speaking of what if, you know, Weiss is sidelined. It's pretty bullish.
Who's that?
Alex Weiss.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I hate to say that. Sorry, Weiss. I don't mean it in a mean way. Just piling on. I'm being a bully. That's not nice. I shouldn't do that. Apologies.
Watch us go to like 0.25 or 0.3.
Dude.
Because I'd be selling anything around 0.1, but
yeah,
if you look at the
MA,
keeps
going, goes to 20K. Freaking what's his face? Raul Paul is just like totally euphoric. He's buying the entire Caribbean.
For Ski Bum, I don't hate the pair. I hate how the chart's traded historically. I hate how it, especially low time frames on EPTC, is to me untradeable. When you get these multi-week signals, that's the type of stuff I would trade on any pair. But I don't think you can trade EPTC on the daily. I don't even think you can trade on a weekly. I think you have to honestly trade it like on a monthly basis. You have to ask yourself once a month, what does this look like?
Yeah, we talked about that a ton. Like we talked about it on this consolidation. We talked about it at this level, especially when you combine it with the 200. And now we're talking about it here. You know, like that we've walked this ETH BTC weekly chart all along, but Josh continuously hates the smaller versions of it. But you can't deny these levels on the weekly. Like they've been very strong. This was our prior magnet. 0.055 was our 2021 magnet. And we talked about blowing through it. We did. It was the version of 6K. We talked about 0.084. Didn't quite get there. Now we're talking 0.1, 0.14. That's where it's pointing us to. It's not a guarantee. But
I think
our
at
hit
this
rate on
point,
these type of macro moves with ETH is not bad. Our hit rate is not bad on this show.
at this point, 0.1. So you're saying the technicals are pointing to 0.1. On top of that, I'm continually seeing stories that legacy players are dumping BTC for ETH. I don't like to hear that, but
I like to.
that's what
That's
what I'm seeing.
Bring it.
And let's say that here's the technical targets for the rationalities for that 0.25 plus would be this is the MA multiplier on the yearly. The last time it hit that multiple was basically the top of the ICO bubble in 2017. So that exact target would now be 0.26, and that's going to move up slowly over time. But there is TA pointing us there. That's all I'm saying. I don't want it to go there. I don't want anything above 0.1, and that's fine by me. But if we do surge through 0.1, this is the first thing I'm going to be looking at is this MA multiplier.
Yeah. Interesting corollary there. You really can't look at ETH without talking about Sol, and I feel like Solana is most recognized. Avalanche as well, to some degree, is kind of the preeminent alternatives to the fees on ETH. Like, people can't transact on ETH. You know, like ETH goes that high, you're still spending 0.05 ETH to make a transaction or whatever. It's just insane. Sol ETH consolidating at the highs. Sol USD went back into, you remember this triangle that we pointed at, and we talked about it going up too quickly. Well, it went right back to that diagonal, and now the dream is alive for, you know, the $500,000 Sol, whatever, like some parabolic blow off top. And it kind of lines up on other time frames. Like, this looks absolutely insane, but it doesn't mean it can't go higher. That's always what you run into on these.
That would be the ultimate dream, is for me to get drunk on both BTC maxi tiers and ETH maxi tiers
by betting on Sol.
As Solana explodes for literally no reason other than fees and hype. It's the best proof of stake marketing coin we've ever seen, I think. I think that's why it's up here. I don't think it's because of fundamentals at all. I think that's the last reason it's up here.
Sol breaking up from these levels could easily go, like, on a BTC relative basis. I think it's still doing the 2017 ETH framework, where it could go to like 0.01. It could triple. Sol 600, 800, BTC 100K, ETH 20K. Just finish it, you know, just blow the lid off this thing, and then we can have a 4-year bear market. But next bear market's going to be twice as long as the last one.
ETH 20K. I posted some mocking meme on Kaleo talking about 25K ETH like a couple months ago, and everyone's like tagging me now. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, guys, we're not there yet. Just calm down.
Yeah. Kaleo loves his high targets, and then sometimes they hit, and I'm just like, okay, it's just clown world, but it happened.
0.07 would be next target for Sol ETH. But any higher high here is tear jerking, drunk on tears for me, because then the ETH people would start crying. But they don't care. The thing about the ETH people is they don't care about the user experience anymore. All they care about is number go up. I've got bags.
Well, I
want my investment to go higher.
That's where this AVAX move is coming from too. I mean, AVAX is legitimately EVM on their C chain, but it works. You know, like, you can deploy everything that's on ETH to AVAX, and it's working better than the ETH layer 2s so far. Easier compatibility, it's proof of stake, it's got like its own L1 ecosystem. It's Sol, but EVM. Same thing, but with EVM. Similar funding, backing, marketing. It looks freaking great. I was so bullish on this. I wanted this $100 move. I just didn't catch most of it. I got to like 75 and then I gave up. But why not play it from 100 to 200? It's all magic internet money.
It looks good. The volume's even slightly ramping on that.
Yeah, it is. It looks like it's breaking out. Maybe that's what I'll do today.
It's another one that retraced to Kijun-ish is dot. I don't love the chart, but
See, I think some of these dot feels more like EOS to me. Came out.
bro, parachains, bro. Don't you know about parachains?
They don't hit the narrative. Dot has not hit the narrative the way others have.
Well, in my mind, just mentally, they're all the same. They're all dot, AVAX.
I hear you, but I think they're different in the culture. The culture is different. The community is different.
It's just a better culture, you know?
I think that's a reasonable thing.
I guess. I don't know anything about the dot people. I'm sure they're fine people, other than Kevin. But I don't know anything about them. Do you have any thoughts on the ETH foundation selling? I should pull up that chart.
They nailed the top last time they did it.
Yeah.
They just fund themselves, and it's self-reinforcing sometimes. Like, people see the foundation is selling. Does that mean Vitalik thinks Ethereum is overvalued again? What should we do?
Is it better or worse than Link selling? Or different ballpark?
It's different because Link is like enriching themselves with the team.
Isn't that what they're doing here?
The Ethereum Foundation is doing foundation-y things. I find them to be different.
Okay.
I own a lot of ETH and no Link, so take that for what it's worth.
Look at this volume since January. Ugh.
Nobody wants to transact it, but it's going up.
Any thoughts on Constitution DAO? I really thought you guys had it there for a second. Did you
guys?
invest?
What do you mean, you guys?
I figured you didn't throw 6 figures in the DAO?
No. I threw nothing into the DAO. I do not own a piece of the Constitution. Neither does anyone else in crypto, unless it was Justin's son.
I thought it was hilariously ludicrous and awesome that it came to even that amount of funding.
Oh, I have to say, if I knew the deadline and I knew it actually had raised that much, totally would have tacked on a little bit just to say, yeah, that's my Constitution, baby. But I didn't, because I thought last I saw they'd raised like 3 or 4 million, and then it was suddenly at 40.
Like, they had a shot at actually owning it, which is so insane.
They had a very close shot, but we talked about this in Up Only. Like, it's a very bad idea for your max bid to be completely public, because people can either drive you straight to it and know that you're going to bid it, or they can outbid you by just a little bit and know they're going to win.
Yeah.
So
very true.
Someone else got bid. It was Brooke versus David, and they had this thing where she's like here, and then she'd be like that when she's ready to take it up 1 more million, and it turned out Brooke was on the wrong team.
Still a fun little distraction, I guess.
Yeah, I love that. This is why crypto is fun. It's like, oh, you didn't see that? No, that was yesterday, man. That was ages ago. We're on to the next thing now. Today I saw there's a jet DAO, which seems really dumb. It's just a jet that's going to fly between New York, Miami, and LA and be owned by a DAO, and it's going to put crypto bros in it. Those are just called airlines, man. You can get on them all the time. Anyway. I
saw, regarding the Constitution stuff, somebody was saying like they should burn it and create a digital NFT. Like, imagine. Could you imagine?
Now that would be funny. Like, that would be really funny. Like, as an American, I'd be a little worried. Like, I'd say that's probably not great. But, whatever. There's 11 other of them, or however many copies it was.
It would just make the other ones more valuable.
Yeah. That's right.
Can you explain this OHM stuff to me? Because I feel like every day there's a new DeFi thing that I'm just completely lost on.
Oh, this one isn't new. This is old hat. Now there's 30 different forks of it. You don't 3-3, bro?
What? No.
It's a backed high yield Ponzi.
Well, I'm glad you used that word so that I can freely use it, because that's what it always seems like to me.
But what's funny is, like, some traditional finance people look at it and they're like, oh yeah, this is brilliant. Like, we do partially backed Ponzi's all the time. So in some ways, it's a complete Ponzi destined to collapse down to its base instruments that it holds in its treasury. And in other ways, it's just going to keep going up because the Ponzi lives. Inflation is good. So the comma thing, you put it in parentheses, and it's 3-3. And it's because you have 3 options. You can sell the coin, you can sell the yield, or you can claim and restake and roll it so that you get the greatest compounding. So 3-3 is on this matrix of 3 vertical options, 3 horizontal options of the different things that you can do between, sell, yield, whatever. 3-3 is the one where you hold your yield and reinvest it. There's a little grid that you can find a meme for, and that's what happens. And then
it's like auto compounding.
Yep. So you're basically auto compounding your yield back into the basis, and it increases your ability to continue to auto compound. The inflation schedule for the coin is very high, so you might get like 1,000% or 30,000% APY, and it's fine because everybody's 3-3ing, so like nobody's going to dump on you, and it becomes a prisoner's dilemma of if someone dumps, then others dump, yada yada. Additionally, what makes these work and not just like eventually collapse, which they still may, but you can also bond assets. So the treasury itself is backed by people who bond, and they receive a discount. They might receive a 5% discount, a 7% discount, or whatever, something competitive to the auto compounding yield. And you might sell an LP position. So it might be a blend of like Ohm and ETH, or ETH USD, or just USDC or whatever. And you do it as a bond, and then you essentially receive discounted Ohm for providing that. And when you buy the discounted Ohm by selling your underlying assets, those assets go into the treasury, and essentially they create like a cash basis for the project itself. So if it trades at $50, but if the inherent value based on the value of their treasury is like $20, then theoretically it shouldn't go below $20. So then if you calculate, well, what's my yield? How long will it take me? And then it's got this floor, quote, floor.
I've heard that before.
Of the treasury balance, then you're good to go. So more people get convinced to just go in. Number of holders increases. It's like a multi-level marketing scheme, Ponzi thing, and it's brilliant. I've done a little 3-3ing in my day. It's been great. I'm not saying anything bad about these types of schemes. That's what they are. They are a dangerous territory. Like the way to play them, if you're going to play them, not financial advice, the way you're going to play them best is you talk 3-3 game all day, but you get your cost basis out of there as soon as you can. And then once your cost basis is out, you keep on 3-3ing. So technically you're not 3-3ing for the whole time. You're 3-3ing until you're not, and then you start 3-3ing again. You get your cost basis out, and then you let the Ponzi roll from there and its profit. And then you hope everyone decides to 3-3 behind you. So, and then all the other ones, it's a hat and a hat, and an owl and an owl, a snowflake and a snowflake, whatever, for the different ones. It's Steph said Ledger's version of 3-3 is dump on everyone until you're in profit. I didn't say that. I just said, protect yourself. Risk management.
I mean, that's just like trading 101. But it sounds like needless overcomplication to veil the Ponzi.
It's the most beautiful dynamic of creating this potential for everyone profits until someone big enough decides to sell that everyone panics. And then it does create it, like when it goes down, it could definitely be like an elevator down scenario, but then it could start to look like a good deal again once you get to the kind of floor assets. So selling the bonds in order to build the treasury is a pretty genius supportive dynamic. And you could probably play a ratio, I'm sure people do, on the various ones to look for the best deals, to say like, here's the price relative to the floor, if you will, the ratio, of market cap to treasury assets. And when that ratio gets low enough, like it increases a chance for upside, and it's better to jump back in. So like you continually encourage people to hop back in. The other element that becomes a little sketchy over time is because it's so inflationary that the rewards, the rebasing that's occurring of the baseline tokens, the price could not change, but if it's at like 10,000% APY over the course of a year, the market cap can get so insane. Eventually, it's going to not make any sense, like it's going to be bigger than Doge and all these other ones. It's going to be like the number 2 or 3 coin in crypto, and like, where's your upside? And it becomes only the yield, and people are going to start not 3-3ing if it gets too out of whack. But until then, until people realize that like the market caps are absolutely insane, then it's kind of fun. So that's why people do it. It's gambling. It's like riding a bull, like how long can I stay on this bull before I get bucked off and stomped on?
Yeah, I guess I was just so out of the loop on that. I'm glad.
You're not glad, I promise you. You would have much rather be in the loop, at least early.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I would have done anything about it because it sounds stupid.
And by stupid you mean fun. All the dumbest things are like the things people are most interested in.
It's all the left side, left curve people.
Yeah.
But I always think
you're middle curving it.
I just always think to myself, okay, can I really be mad? Because I personally would not have invested or thrown much money at that stuff. So like, what's my upside there by missing out?
Well, if you do it with an amount that you'd be willing to lose, then it's not such a big deal.
Right. But I'd never throw 6 figures at that. So it's like, okay.
The upside is like some of these things have 10x or 100x or whatever of your basis. So if you can take $1,000, not feel it, and it turns into 10,000 or 100,000 or something like that, then like, there you go. The chat asked, is W memo part of the 3-3 thing? Yeah, it's just Time's version of it. So Time and memo, or memo's staked time to where if you own memo, you're actively 3-3ing, but with hats. And then like that's what SB is, and I don't know what that one is, but it's like, snowflakes. Problem is, you put enough into that, like the market cap of the 3-3 Ponzi sector just like balloons and becomes gigantic. And the Klima, that's another one. There's a bunch of them. There's a ton of them, and then some of them are folding because of various reasons. So it's like,
wait, hold on. Some of them are folding?
Yeah, because some of them are not working. It's like,
no way, dude. That's crazy.
Crazy. Can't believe it.
I'm glad I'm sitting down because I would have passed out. I'm just so unrealistic for something like that to collapse.
So we spent a lot of time talking about Ohm, how Ohm works.
Well, I'm glad you explained it because
now you get
knew very little about it, but yeah.
And now you get why it's a cult thing too. These are probably top things, Josh, when people are just like, yeah, sure, I'll do a Ponzi. Let's go, baby. I mean,
yeah, it's like, I thought BitClout was the top thing, but it wasn't really a top thing, and it's still semi-existing. So, it's just a continuous top thing.
Yeah. Let's talk about something that we've talked about so much. I'm sick of it. Probably means it's maybe kind of possible for it to sort of work, which is, as regular listeners will know, win DeFi. I feel like we can confidently just move the trade signal down. Like it's reached a level to where now if it clears a different level, you enter the range trade. DeFi continues to grind lower, but continue to look a little more attractive on a relative basis. However, nobody can afford to transact on ETH. So like, is the DeFi perp including all the DeFi stuff on other chains? maybe that would make it more attractive. But on ETH, it's like, it seems like this trade's not going to break out to the upside until people can actually use DeFi. Am I wrong?
No, I was just going to say fees. I regularly trade on Enzyme, and my fees are usually over 500, sometimes 1,000 per transaction. Granted, it's multi-exchange, like it's not like one-to-one, it's complex transactions, but
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that. So I'll tell you that much.
No. I mean, I was buying a lot of Ethereum the other day, like because I still try to transact on chain a lot. So I use exchanges, I use on chain. The on chain buys when at the height of the Ethereum downtime is like, you're typing in like a gas fee of like 677. So, like I don't know what the dollar amounts are, a lot. High dollar transactions, but you're looking for a particular price, and that's what you got to do.
Well, I have to pray that the gas isn't infinity, that I have actual liquidity to sell or buy what I'm trying to sell or buy. And it's just not a fun experience. It's just not.
And you ask why Solana and AVAX are going up, and it's because it's like 12 cents to transact on those.
Yeah, we talked about, the Enzyme people and I talked about this. I was just like, look, guys, anything is better than ETH at this point, literally, because I get like the security problems and the speed, and that's like some trilemma, blah blah blah. But ETH is becoming worse and worse. It's just like people are accepting these fees that they are what they are at this point,
Yeah. DMNZ asks, do you think L2s are not really killing it as it was expected? I don't know what that means in terms of killing it. Like, are they doing a good job? But yeah, the integrations are slow, as Berto said. So I think you need the deployments on these EVM compatible L2s to go quickly, and not all of them are going quickly. And then the other thing you need is bridging capacity to like make it really, really straightforward to get there and back. And so that's why Avalanche is taking off. Solana's just kind of rebuilding everything and has its cult members and its own capacity. But that's like Avalanche is working well because it's EVM compatible. So, it's like Curve and Aave and whatever, like they're all being incentivized to deploy on Avalanche. They do. The bridge is really easy. So it's just like, boom, off you go. Daily transactions are totally mooning on Avalanche.
I'm just surprised there isn't some relief on ETH fees, seeing some layer 2 stuff pop up, as well as just like bridging to sort of take over. It's like ETH fees are still going up despite having like other avenues to make transactions.
Yeah, I think maybe Berto says teams are waiting for ZK compatible EVM L2s, and like Vitalik's probably gonna be proven right there. Like Vitalik was a little hesitant for optimistic rollups, and it was kind of a band-aid middleware solution, and it seems like maybe the side chains or alternative L1s are a better band-aid than the optimistic rollups or the like less less ideal L2s. But once you get ZK rollups and ETH 2.0, like then ETH can kind of roar back. But we'll price all that in ahead of time. By the time they launch it and stuff, it'll just be like, okay, whatever, this old hat. We knew that was coming. So I wouldn't necessarily align that with your ETH estimations for whether ETH will go up or not, but it can certainly help you understand whether or not you can transact on Ethereum itself. Like Ethereum's just it's not feasible for most people to transact on. I hate doing it, and I've done.
It's a rich man's chain.
I've done okay this year, but I hate transacting on ETH. It's like if you are paying, $500 $1,000 to make a trade, that is not cool. Suzu said on Up Only in stinking February or March, he was like, if you have $100,000 on Ethereum, you'll be broke inside a year, and like he was dead right on that. They're also investors in Avalanche. They saw what was coming with enough transactions. You could have done those simulations. So, I mean, it's good and bad, right? I mean, like people want to do all this activity on Ethereum and Ethereum compatible networks. They're certainly not doing it on BTC.
Right. I mean, I think we frame it as a bad thing because it is for the average user, but it's obviously.
It's a good thing.
I love the protocols. I love all the protocols. I use them all the time. It's the tokens that I've had problems with.
We see the potential. We know that we're on 56K internet and that fiber is coming, and we're building fiber-based applications. We're trying to stream video over 56K, and that doesn't work very well.
That's a great analogy. It's like we still have 56K when we know our neighbors got fiber.
Yeah. And you know, Avalanche is over there like, I got cable, bro. It's like, but we want fiber. I got cable. Maybe they're fiber. I don't know. But, you know, like, they're certainly a better alternative to Ethereum layer 1's the 56K. So
one last boomer thing I'll mention that nobody talks about is hash rate on ETH, which is absolutely exploding because fees can support miners there. Trying to pull up the ETH miner. Basically, if you're an ETH miner, you are richer than you've ever been in your entire existence.
Yeah.
It's kind of insane.
I had lunch with a friend who was euphoric mining his ETH when we met for lunch in like April, March, like early this year, first half of this year for sure. He was totally euphoric. And I'm like, well, I wonder how he's feeling now. You know, it's like just swimming in, you know, his cash, his yield. Like the ROI on mining rigs is probably very, very quick.
It's crazy to me how this graph hasn't changed post EIP 1559.
Mm-hmm.
I know that wasn't the intent of EIP 1559.
It was not the intent.
I expected it to change a little bit, and it's only gotten worse. It's like you can't even point to EIP 1559 on this chart. You'd have no idea.
Even the certainty of fees was like one of the things, like, oh yeah, you know, it's not going to reduce fees, but it's going to make them more certain. It's like, I don't know, man. Don't know about that. I still get transactions rejected all the time.
Oh yeah.
And then sometimes they're very, very expensive. And it's like, I don't really know what 1559 accomplished outside of the pumpamentals. And I give Taylor Moynihan from My Crypto a shout out for that one because she called it. She was like, this changes nothing. It's just pumpamentals. That's fine. I like pumpamentals, but call a spade, I guess.
Yeah, and ideally the pumpamentals will kick in eventually because we're getting more and more less inflationary. We'll put it like that.
What?
Here's that chart.
You could just say less and less inflationary.
I don't want to use the word, I don't want to say disinflationary or even deflationary, but
soon.
It's getting there. It's really getting there. And the market hasn't caught up with that yet. Probably because the world computer is coming to a screeching halt as fees go higher and higher and higher and higher.
Yeah, I feel like if I just turn off my brain and I wait for Ethereum number go up and I take some punts on things like Avalanche or Solana still for upside, which seems unreasonable, but like we said, you can't transact on Ethereum. So what are you going to do? You're going to go to those places. They're winning. Embrace the upside. Just like ignore all that space below. Channel your inner bull and accept higher numbers into your life.
Just let the bull come in.
Just let the bull come into you.
Here's a good final closing thought. Where do you think? Yeah, let's
continue on.
Let's not rehash that comment. Where do you think Solana ends up? Like, where do you think the top 5 market caps end up?
Oh God, no take backs.
By the end of the year.
I'm crying. Sorry. Where's what?
The market caps. Do you think can Solana flip ETH? Because that's, I think, the next question for max ETH tiers would be like a 10x in Solana's market cap. Is that even possible by the end of the year? I don't think that's possible. I think that's a bit much, but
yeah, it's totally possible.
You think it's possible? Solana can flip ETH in market cap. I think that would be.
Sorry.
What is that, like $2,000 Solana? He's literally dying over there. For those of you not watching the video.
I do have the giggles. I'm not baked, but yes, the double flipping. Why not send Solana to number one?
Number one? Man, I don't know about number one. Number one would be insane. I do think it can break that 100 billion barrier. It's pretty close right now. How is Cardano still 60? How is XRP still in here?
Yeah, I don't know.
I used to say it was a bubble of Doge. If Doge hit 1 billion market cap, it's a bubble. Doge is at 31 billion. I don't know. It just,
pull up the list.
Makes me nervous.
On your browser. Pull it up. There you go. Thank you.
Makes me nervous looking at this stuff.
I have to collect myself. I'm in tears. It just got to me. Of course this should make you nervous. This is all ridiculous.
Like, look at this list. It's, man, I don't know.
Like I said, just close your eyes.
Basically. Yeah.
I tweeted this morning about selling a little bit just every month and just being like, okay, this is the dumbest bull market ever. If it continues up, your 5 or 10% that you take out at a time, you will never see again because it'll go up 5 or 10% in like days, you know? So do it on days where you're happy, not days where it's like down a bunch.
Yeah.
And then just freaking one day it's going to end, but it'll probably end at a level that we didn't understand how it was possible. And it'll still be way higher than if you just get out now and then cope as it keeps going up. Like it's so hard to sell the top. You and I talk about this so much, but you can average out in ways that are smart. If I lost everything I have in crypto right now, and I only have the things that I've taken to the bank, I still would have done better than I would have thought possible this year. And like I don't feel the money that I've taken out whatsoever. Like that's a win-win situation. Of course, I've normalized like, you know, the performance based on what I still have in crypto. But like I couldn't be mad at myself if it went to zero today. In the sense of if I had no control over it, you know what I mean?
Right.
If you just keep taking it out, DCA in, DCA out. I think we're pretty clearly in like DCA out, nice and slow. What if it takes a year? It might. I don't know. Just keep taking money out. Pay your taxes. Don't do anything stupid. Don't leverage it all, you know, hoping for turbo moon.
I think that's a good life lesson.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. I got to figure out if I'm going to be able to retain this recording at all, or if this will just be the deleted show where we talked about Ponzi's and inappropriate comments. What do you think? Can we manage it? Can I figure out?
I think it's perfectly fine, personally.
Okay, we'll send it out. Who cares? Thanks for being here with us. Sorry, I got the giggles. Talk to you later. Like it, subscribe, all that stuff. YouTube, audio. Bye.
Monuments crumble in the blink of an eye. The easy river has just run dry. In a house of cards, I feel the breeze wound so tight I can barely breathe.